Adrian Mowat is ready. We've just, got big market voices, big opinion makers on the channel today. Of course, Adrian is emerging market strategist, and I've been tracking and talking with Adrian for almost 2.5 decades now. More than that, actually, two decades plus. So, Adrian, how is it looking for the world? For the first time, we can say that a obvious and a mild correction in US equities has started.
Yeah, I'm quite cautious on the outlook for the US economy and the US equity markets. For the Mag 7, we're already in a correction phase with the average around down 10%, with some big names like, so let's say Tesla is 25% off its highs. So I think we've lost the momentum in the leadership. But to me, the real fundamental issue for the US is how much does this economy slow down by? The US economy has been growing rapidly for the last couple of years. There's much talk about US exceptionalism. But we're moving into this Trump regime with economic policies that we all know are bad. Tariffs just add to inflation. They make the world less efficient. And when you've got tariffs that are being speculated on social media platforms, well, we're going to have a 25% tariff on Mexico, maybe, yes, no, we're not. What this does for business is it just makes business confused. It really hits businesses' confidence. It means that they've reduced the amount of capex that they're going to do in the US. And remember, business capex was very strong under the Biden administration. We saw a big fall in consumer confidence. Okay, so we've got 75,000 federal workers accepting the offer to leave. That's a small number, particularly relative to what Clinton did with 200,000. But people's job security is feeling very threatened in the US. And you're doing that from what has been a period of time of having a very strong labor market. Now, the bond market in the US is already showing you this. Bonds are rallying, yields are falling because of this concern on growth. So I think you've got a very expensive US market where growth might disappoint this year. Now, that feeds in quite good to the Indian story, doesn't it? Where, Indian stocks did extremely well, but then the earnings season came through and the growth numbers have been slightly disappointing, and you've seen quite a material correction in the Indian stock market. So I'm feeling quite cautious about the world in 2025, particularly the US economy, the US stock market. I am feeling a bit more bullish about other markets. I think Europe's getting a nice, good wake-up call. We've got lots of cheap stocks in Europe. If they push ahead with deregulation, then I think that's a real positive. We've also got a Chinese government that seems to be becoming a bit more business-friendly after many years of being quite harsh on businesses, particularly the tech space. China's got a very interesting AI story with DeepSeek. It's got cheap tech names, which have got plenty of cash flow, been buying back stock. So I think it's a very interesting dynamic, but I think it's a real shifting dynamic. And it's one in which the US underperforms, the dollar is weak, and it's ironically China and Europe that is looking interesting to me.
What you outlined is US market should fall, dollar should go down, emerging markets should come back, and within that China will outperform. But after the recent bout of correction, where does India fit in if US markets the reverse? Will India fall? Will India fall less? How will the equation move for Indian markets?
So I still think we're in a process of EM funds shifting money into China. And so India is one of the funding sources for that. So it's still not an environment where you're beginning to see an allocation of money towards emerging markets. So I think we're still in the phase where the trend, the change, the delta is negative for flows into India. At some point, if people view it now as consensus that the dollar is going to be weak, that the outlook for emerging markets is getting better, and you begin to see aggregate flows into EM, then India would be a beneficiary of that. But the current stage we're in is one of reallocation away from India into China.
Okay, Adrian, great to have you on the show, and I hope LEC was good.
It was very nice, thank you.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.